Hi everyone, welcome. So I'm sure everyone here has either seen or been around someone who was drunk. Sometimes these people can be very fun and exciting, while other times they can be very aggressive and they can be bullies. Well, the reason I'm here to talk to you guys today is that not only do adults struggle with alcohol addiction, but sometimes they have children who have to suffer with the disease as well. Alcoholism is a disease. It is when an adult or whoever can't control their alcoholic intake and they depend upon alcohol. Sometimes it's just to relax from a long day, sometimes it's just to become happier, whatever the situation. The children suffer as well. Sometimes these children have to watch their parents come home drunk. Sometimes these children have to take care of their parents because they are so drunk and they're passed out in the bathroom. Sometimes they have to watch their parents fight over alcohol. It's not easy for these children to go through. I remember as a kid, it's just a typical night at home watching TV, and my dad would come home drunk. My parents would start to fight shortly after. Me and my sister would end up starting to cry. We'd leave the house and walk down to my grandparents' house and pound on their door to wake them up to take care of us and to have my grandpa go check on my mom or my dad or whoever. And it's not easy for a child to watch their parents fight, to threaten to kill each other, you know, whatever the situation is. It's not easy for these children. 1 in 5 adult Americans have lived with an alcoholic while growing up. Alcoholism does run in families, and children of alcoholics are 4 times more likely to become alcoholics themselves. These children go through a variety of different feelings, and they usually don't express them or share them. Sometimes they have to go through the guilt. The child may blame themselves, and they believe they are the cause for their parents drinking. Sometimes they experience anxiety. The child just may be worrying constantly about fighting and fear of violence going on. They can experience some embarrassment. They choose to not allow friends to come over to their houses because they don't want them to see their parents drunk, because they may not even know if they're drunk or not. They can have the inability to have close friendships because they don't know how to trust people. They're having an alcoholic in the family, kind of usually they tell you one thing and they do another. They experience a lot of confusion. The parents' reactions and behaviors may change. One day they can be completely happy, and the other day they're a mess. They can go through some anger for being angry at the alcoholic for getting drunk again, or the non-alcoholic parent they can be angry at because they're not getting them out of the situation. There is also depression that a lot of children go through from this. They feel lonely and helpless. I didn't learn it till a couple years later a couple years ago, that one of my things was that I learned was to put on a smile. Like, I was constantly smiling. It wasn't because I was happy. People thought I was happy, but I just didn't know how to express my feelings, I didn't know how to share my feelings with anybody because I never really was asked that, and I didn't really learn how. The behaviors children may start to show: they may stop going to school, they may have truancy for not being to school or being late a lot, they can have a lack of friends, or they may have a lot of friends because they don't want to be around home and they'd rather go to a friend's house. Sometimes they have frequent physical complaints, and sometimes they tend to fight more with people in school or people at home, and they usually end up having riskier behaviors. it is important for these children to receive early professional help. Um, it would be very nice if everybody can go to family counseling, but sometimes the parents don't think that they need help. The child usually isn't going to want to talk about it, which is a big problem, but there are places that the children can go. Sometimes they can go to a counselor at school. Sometimes they can go to Al-Anon, but Al-Anon's kind of it's not for adults, but it's more of an adult area. But there is Alateen, and Alateen is kind of just a group of people that get together and they are allowed to talk about these feelings that they're expressing, their situation at home, and not be judged about it, not be judged about how they feel about their parents, and they can get support and make friends with Alateen. To sum it all up, these children go through so much at home, and they're not going to say anything probably to anybody. They experience all sorts of different feelings. They experience that anxiety that I was talking about. They experience depression, and they eventually sometimes just start to act out. We really want to try to get them to go to Al-Anon or Alateen or find someone to talk to. Granted, a lot of the time they're probably not going to talk, but it is important for us to know that it's not their fault. It's not easy for these people to talk about it, these children to talk about it, and there is help and hope for these children as long as they have support, even if it's just with another family member or a friend to talk to. Hopefully they'll get the support someday and find help. I really appreciate everybody watching this, and I hope you guys have a nice day.